Hi, Cancer. Welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. I'm Liz. We're going to be talking about February. So I hope your year is going well so far. How things are still crazy. But it's been interesting because I do the readings in order. So from Aries to Pisces. And for whatever reason, I have wanted to call everybody else Cancer. So I'm excited to be doing a reading. I'm kind of curious to see kind of what's going on. With this deck that I've been using, it's been kind of like drawing my attention to the splits. Before I start the video and like between readings and stuff, I shuffle the deck a bunch and just kind of, sit in your energy, recalibrate and all of that. Call in, guides and higher light beings and everybody that I work with or try to work with. Anyway, and I split the deck and, like shuffle it, and it just has been kind of bringing my attention to the split. And you guys had the 9 of Wands and the 2 of Wands, which is interesting because, immediately the feeling that I get from that is just that you've been working really hard at trying to configure a direction that you want to go in, like the 2 of Wands, and that they're both wands too. So, the wands have to do with action, movement, right? Like doing stuff. So the 2 of Wands talks about kind of, like researching, kind of gathering all of the information for figuring out, again, like, kind of a direction that you want to put your action into. The 9 of Wands is usually like, a little beat up, but the message behind it is, just kind of hold on, like you're there, like the 9s are actually the individual completion. So, it may have been a long journey, and you may have had a lot of kind of bumps in the road or whatever, but you made it, so yeah. And then also interestingly enough, like there was another split that my attention was brought to, which was the 6 of Swords and the 8 of Cups. So, I mean, there's definitely, you're moving away from something and heading into another direction. The 8 of Cups talks about leaving behind, like walking away from a feeling, because the cups have to do with our emotions. So, like the way that you feel about a certain situation or the outlook that you have on the situation or whatever, you could just be leaving behind those old patterns of behavior and, like walking towards the 9 of Cups, which is kind of wish fulfillment. So, and then the 6 of Swords talks about kind of leaving choppy water for smooth water. Like that's kind of usually what the depiction is on the card. So yeah, movement is coming. If it has been a situation where you have been just kind of like really putting a lot of energy into deciding which way you want to go, it's becoming clear, or it will be. So it's already 4.5 minutes. Let's get into this just really quick for new people. And if you don't remember, the first card we pull is going to be the current energy. To the left of that is any blocks. Underneath that is advice to clear the block. And then finally, the energy that we're heading into. we only ask for one card at a time. We'll do two if they come out together. But they do have to actually fall out of the deck. If they flip in the deck, we'll flip them back over and keep it moving. I don't shuffle reversals into the deck, but if it like falls out and ends up in the reverse, we'll keep her in the reverse. And is there something else? I don't think so. So what's the current energy for Cancer? Current energy for Cancer. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm not like laughing at the situation. It's almost like it's just kind of tying into what I was saying before. Anyway, the Nine of Swords is kind of like anxiety. It's the things that keep us up at night. It's, you know, those thoughts that are just continuously like these birds up here, just fluttering around constantly, just nagging, and, you know, feeling a little overwhelmed by it. And there's like this one like this one little glimmer of hope, you know, this white one. This also actually, to me, now that like I'm looking at it, it really actually kind of feels like this is like a message coming in, because, you know, like you can see just kind of this little what is it, like a flare there too. So it's almost kind of like this to me. And like I was saying before, like with the cards that showed themselves on the split, you may very well, obviously, you know, because we're asking for the current energy, this may be where you are right now, but it's like, you know, this change is coming, like whether this is like a download or a different idea, you know, like sometimes even just, you know, mulling through all of these thoughts and possibilities and what ifs and blah, 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 kind of helps create clarity. So that could be what that is too. But then we have the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, so, you know, I'm kind of getting this feeling of like you're just done with this. Like you're just ready to be over. And again, it is the Nine of Swords. So you are done with this technically. Like the nines have to do with individual completion. So you are done. You're done. If you know, you know. And that may be why, you know, this message is coming in, you know, that because you have thought about everything possible and have stressed enough over it, lost enough sleep, you know. So, but what I think I was going to say before is that it's kind of like you're so tired of kind of being in this energy and you just want to be here already. Because look at the juxtaposition between like this card and these cards. Even with the Three of Swords underneath, which I don't necessarily think is like kind of involved yet. I mean, whatever. But it's just kind of like, and maybe this Ace of Swords or Ace of Wands is what you've been mulling over. Like you've been searching for whatever this, you know, kind of new passion or this new kind of venture to take. I mean, you know, all of the fire is coming from the third eye area also. So, and just kind of all of this area up here. So, I mean, you very well could be dealing with like a third eye opening, a crown opening. I feel like a lot of the decks actually, or all of the signs that I've done so far, there's a lot of like third eye and crown stuff going on, which is amazing. I mean, we need more of that in the world anyway, but it's just kind of interesting that it's just kind of like pulling my attention towards those things. So, so yeah, I mean, this could be what is causing you to have kind of been in a more anxious state. Like maybe this is something like completely outside of any type of comfort box or whatever that you've ever been in, but it's like, you also know that it's the thing that's going to bring you happiness. And there's a 9 of Cups. Are there other cards that... Okay. This little spirit of a bird is just giving me hope. So what's the block? What's blocking Cancer for February 2022? What's a block? What's a holdup? What is a block for Cancer? February. Whoop, whoop. Ah! I almost went all the way off the table. Okay. Getting a little too aggressive. What's the block for Cancer? What's blocking Cancer? Or what's a holdup? What's a block for Cancer? I know, I'm sorry. Sometimes it takes a little more shuffling. Cards have to get wherever they need to go, I guess, to fall out. It's too many. What is a block for Cancer? Ooh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is one of my favorite cards in all of tarot. I love the Death card, especially once I kind of came to understand it better. But in this depiction, it's death and rebirth. And that's what the Death card signifies anyway. It's not an actual death. It's or like a literal death of, but it is the death of a cycle, a way of being, whatever it is that needs to end so that something can be rebirthed. That's what it is. So, we have, of course, a depiction of this hooded figure, but then, inside of this hood is a completely different place, it's a different, I keep wanting to say dimension, so maybe. And with it being in the blocked position, the feeling that I'm getting from it is that there's just kind of this struggle to allow this thing to end. And again, like I said, I mean, it could be anything, relating it back to the current energy, it could just be a way of thinking. It could be focusing on all of these kind of negative, old stories, old ways of coping with stuff, like whatever, all of the old stuff that maybe, you know, like for a long time, um, had its purpose, but it doesn't anymore. And it also just kind of seems like you don't need any of this, is really the feeling that I'm getting. So, you know, like maybe, um, because then we have the Empress on the bottom of the deck. And she is, you know, like the, of course, the divine feminine, right? But it's the energy. So it's not specifically a woman, but it's kind of, you know, nurturing, being in the flow. Um, you know, it's birth, it's fertility. So, and again, you know, even just kind of seeing the juxtaposition between these cards and this card, like, you know, this is what's waiting for you, right? Like, if we get out of this energy and come into this energy, but in order to kind of do that, something has to be let go of, and that's all of these things, which is hard because, of course, right? Like, our identities from the time that we're kids are built on these stories that we've like developed and become part of our personality and blah blah blah. And how do we, like, who are we even without these things, right? But this is who we are without those things. And behind that is the Three of Wands. So remember, at the beginning, you know, I was saying that the Two of Wands kind of presented itself. This is that direction showing up. This is deciding on the path. You know, like, you may not know every which way, like every possibility, every what if, but you're just gonna start going in a direction. Yeah. So again, with this being in the blocked position, there could just be some resistance towards letting these things fall away. And then, you know, even some resistance in letting this new way of being come in. But also, I'm all of a sudden, like, I'm getting this feeling of this bird, because it almost kind of looks like a spirit to me, because it's not really like filled in. But it almost just kind of feels like with these flares right here, it almost kind of looks like it's trying to push those things out. And this is hard. I mean, you know, like going through, you know, like a major change like this, you know, like that is hard to do. It's a lot of trusting the process. It's a lot of, you know, like kind of taking big risks. And it's a lot of like giving yourself a lot of grace and finding a lot of compassion for yourself. But if it's blocking you, girl, it needs to go. No, it's out of here. Okay. Let's see, what is the advice? How do we clear this block? How do we allow this to happen? The Chariot. And Strength. You know, the Chariot talks about big changes quickly. I mean, you can just kind of see how, you know, I mean, it looks like they're moving really fast. And the feeling that I was getting from this immediately was just surrender, because, you know, I mean, there's not actually anybody driving this chariot. He's just like kind of crouching on top of it, you know? And again, like I said, like trusting the process. He is being guided. Because like I said, I mean, there's nobody driving this thing and they're moving really fast. So somebody has to know where they're going. But he's just up there chilling, you know, and then we have the strength card. Yeah. So this is just kind of like, you know, hold on, really. You know, like I was saying before, like find a large amount of compassion for yourself and, you know, like a lot of that self-care, but the self-care in the sense of compassion, grace, not kind of beating yourself up. So, you know, with this being in the advice position, like I said, I'm getting this feeling of surrendering because it seems like this could happen fast. And it also, like, to me, because this, like, look at, it's usually depicted by you know, like a female character like trying to open the mouth of a lion. And in this depiction, half of her face is a lion. So, and then we have this little lamb down here. So it's like, it's giving me this feeling of like this huge transformation that's going on, but kind of keeping the energy of a lamb, like, you know, kind of keeping that innocence. But this situation right here between this death and this chariot card, just hold on tight, you know. Hold on tight to this chariot. And then we have the Three of Swords underneath it and the Six of Wands. And, you know, and again, I'm just kind of getting this feeling like with these, the way that they are here, you know, she kind of has his heart on a necklace, right? So there may just be, you know, like through this transformation, there may be things that kind of fall off. You know, that could be relationships, that could be jobs, that could be whatever, but you know, there's success on the other side of it though. This is like kind of being in front of the right people, like being in front of the people that, like, you know, support you. So yeah, I mean, whatever this situation is, it is big. And it is probably already taking a lot of strength to get through. But it's almost like, you know, just kind of maybe even keeping this imagery in mind. Like, you know, kind of having the eye of the tiger, right? But keeping the innocence of a lamb, like, you know, just kind of letting the situation unravel almost is like the word that I'm getting. And it seems like it would kind of do that quickly. Which I don't know, I guess could be good and bad, you know. So what is the energy that Cancer is heading into? What's next? Sorry, I have something in my eye. Okay. I don't really like the way that those fell out, but we're going to keep them. Yeah. We're definitely keeping those. Let me kind of move these over a little bit here. And look who's on the bottom again. And again, okay, yeah, great. So we have the Hermit and the King of Wands. You know what is beautiful too is here we have this very heavy kind of energy in the middle, and everything around it like is just so much brighter, you know? So, I mean, you very well being in this kind of energy, that is kind of exactly how it feels, right? Just kind of doom and gloom. But there's all this kind of good stuff around you that is happening, whether you know it or not. And even in the Nine of Swords, you know, we have this kind of messenger coming in. So the feeling that I'm getting from this, we have the Hermit, like I said, and the King of Wands. I have too many things going through my head at one time. So let me just let me just get these organized here. Immediately the thought was that it's like you know exactly what to do. The Hermit talks about going within and really connecting to your star player, which, you know, is a bit of a lonely journey because really only you can do it, right? But it's kind of like, you know, she's kind of hovering there a little bit. And it's like, you know, you've climbed this mountain, and this can be, you know, kind of a mountain to whatever, enlightenment or clarity is really the word that I'm getting. And just kind of having this like inner peace about where you're going, what you're going to do. The King of Wands is, I mean, he's the entrepreneur. He's taking risks, but he like calculated risks, very much in his power, right? You know, like with the wands, and how at the beginning, you know, saying the two of wands and the nine of wands had shown themselves in the split. So you're coming out of this energy and you're going into knowing exactly what you're going to do. Like fully. I mean, like you embody it. It's like nobody can tell you any different. And what's interesting too about this is that we have this lion back here. So again, you know, we had the strength card just a second ago at the bottom of the deck. So, you know, it again, it's like, you know, just kind of calling in the energy of, you know, the lion's strength to get you here. I think that's so beautiful, just that we were literally just talking about this transformation. Also, he is fine. And then again, you know, like with the Empress and the three of wands, the lovers and the world. Yeah. Again, you know, like this is just opportunities even birthing in your life. You know, like opportunities being fertile around you even. This can be very much about you just, again, you know, being in your power and knowing exactly what type of opportunities you would even, what's the word? Oh no. What type of opportunities you would even consider. And then again, you know, the three of wands, like we were talking about before, heading in a direction. The lovers, you know, just kind of talks about like decisions. I mean, of course it can actually be relationship, but more so it talks about big decisions, but also, you know, kind of the masculine and feminine energy all kind of coming into play. And then we have the world card, the ending and beginning of a new cycle. So you may be starting off a little rough or feeling a little rough, but it's almost kind of like once you give permission for this death thing to happen, you know, whatever it is for you, it moves quickly, or it can happen quickly. And then it's kind of like, you know, your clarity on what you see for your life. I mean, you could be wanting to start a business also. And you could be clear on what you want that business to look like. And it's going to, be amazing. It's going to be fertile. And, I feel like I just kind of keep saying the same words like over and over again. So I'm trying to find different words and I can't. So I am just going to kind of leave it there. So I just kind of don't keep going around in a circle. Again, thank you so much for joining me this month, and I will see you next month. Bye.